My testimony, I literally had Jesus walk in my front door, like audibly felt it, sensed it. Like it was absolutely incredible. Broke down crying.
Blessed to have Cody Baker join us today, someone I got a chance to sit down with and break bread with at SSA back in September. And in a 2.5, 3 hour dinner, we talked very little about self storage and very little about lending. We talked a lot about God. And so when Cam Pactonat shared this idea of how faith fuels your business with us for the self storage report, Cody was one of the first people that I approached to bring on. I thought it was somebody that was going to be really powerful in sharing his story. So Cody, first of all, thanks for taking the time to share this aspect of your life with us. And I'll go
Absolutely.
right into it by saying, how does your relationship with God play itself out in your day-to-day business at Baker Capital Partners?
Man, that is such a loaded question because he is absolutely everywhere. Um, it's the biggest part of my life, my wife's life, our lives together. Man, we wanted to bring that into the business and have the business focused around, just bringing value to God's people as much as we possibly can. Um, we just say it all the time, and I say this to my team: this is God's business. He's going to do with it what he wants, And so, I think how God comes into the business is such a loaded question because it starts with me, and my testimony of how I, came back to Christ because I grew up in a Baptist church, and back then it was like I was getting grounded on Sunday for wearing jeans to church, man. And I was a rebel back then, so I just did it anyway, and I just grounded every Sunday. Now you walk into my parents' church and my stepdad, who grounded me every Sunday, is wearing cargo shorts while managing the sound. Yeah. I give him a lot of crap about that, but, my testimony, I literally, and this is conversation for another time, but I literally had Jesus walk in my front door, like audibly felt it, sensed it. Like it was absolutely incredible. Broke down crying. I was talking to a team member of mine at the time. I was running a marketing company back then when this happened. And, long story short, it just brought me back to Christ and, starting this business, starting Baker Capital Partners and the storage vault and, all of that. I wanted God to be, front and center in everything. And I have a mentor who's my life group leader. We do Bible study with him. He's a very successful businessman as well. And so he's my mentor on multiple different levels. Back in July of 24, just started the business, no revenue, had just left a company like that kind of, screwed me out of tens of thousands of dollars upon my departure. So money was tight. I was confiding in my mentor, and I was telling him, like, I'm so worried about this. Like, the first thing he asked me, he goes, "Do you tithe?" And I was like, "Did you not hear what I said? Like, I don't have any money. Like I need to, I'm my liquidity is like gone. I don't know how this is relevant." And he said, "Do you tithe?" And I was like, "Well, no, I have, I'm sure I have before in the past." He's like, "Not regularly though." No. No joke. I had it on the schedule every single day. We were praying at noon every single day, me and my mentor, for 20 minutes, pray every day at noon. And this started right after the 4th of July, in July 7th, I want to say. And no deal in sight, still trying to figure it out and how to play the game on my own, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, we had mortgage coming due. We had car payments. We had a lot of things that we needed liquidity for. And a lot of my value and everything is tied up in all my storage properties that we can't pull out. So 3 weeks later, after praying every single day, and sorry, I jumped ahead. 3 days after the 7th, so it was on the 10th. So we'd been praying for 3 days. And finally, I just felt this tug and pull to tithe whatever I had. And so I did it. And my wife ripped me a new one. 3 weeks later, 3 weeks later, a deal closed. Deals don't last 3 weeks, right? They're like 2 months, month and a half. 3 weeks later, a deal closed, got paid. The only way that happened was because an old client called and said, "Hey, I'm using one of your banks that you sent me in the past. I don't feel right doing this deal without you." And I was like, just dumbfounded. Like, that's never happened before in my history of doing this business. The only thing I can attribute to that was God. And he helped me pay the bills that month. And then snowballing from there, praying every day, tithing first fruits. I stuck to the system after that. I was like, this is okay. There's something to this. Stuck to the system after that. And 2025, we breached over 1 million in production. So
If that's not God,
you asked me where God is in my business. And it's like, I can't pinpoint anything. I'd be sitting here all day pinpointing everything. I'd show you the entire business. It's like, he's everywhere. And we try to focus on that when hiring people, making sure they're aligned with our values. You know, we created our company values around all of this as well. Our clientele needs to have the same values that we do, because this business is stressful enough. You might as well be doing it with people you know and like and love and trust and all those things, like that, you know.
appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
So it's absolutely incredible. The God being present in my life has been a roller coaster, as it has been for many that have a testimony. And
Truth.
and I just, during we did this in our Bible study, we did this thing called Rooted. You ever heard of it? It's this book. A lot of churches get it to start Bible studies and have people go through this 10-week program, and then hopefully it creates life groups out of that people want to stay and do life groups after that. Our life group was already together, and then we ended up doing the Rooted program together. We had a guest speaker come and speak. He was a pastor for like 60 years. Like, this dude's like 88 years old, and he's been preaching since he was 20. Lives in my neighborhood, amazing guy. And the one takeaway that I took from him was, he said, you have to kill yourself every single day. And that aspect just struck me like a bag of bricks. I was like, what does that mean though? Like, what do you like? The way he explained it was, who's making the decisions? Who's sitting at the throne of your heart every single day making those decisions? And if you don't consciously make the decision first thing in the morning that you are not on the throne, and you kill yourself off the throne and put Jesus and Christ and the Holy Spirit on that throne, then you're not living by the Spirit. You're living by your own authority. And so that's
I
what we
love
try to
that you
that's what we try to do every day. We try to kill ourselves every day, lead with love, and however we can, support God's people, being our families, our friends, our colleagues, coworkers, peers, new clients. That's what drove me to create Storage Vault. We're not making any money from that. It's actually costing me $5,000 a month for the marketing and everything. Like, it's expensive. But the value that it brings to what I would consider, hopefully God's people reading it on the other end, makes it worth it. So
I want to just share with the audience that's watching that you shared that line with me about killing yourself every day when we had dinner. And interesting, we mentioned our mutual friend, Noah Starr, more your friend than mine, but someone I consider a friend as well. You and Noah have been investors together, friends for a very long time. We were at the Tract IQ dinner out in Vegas, and you said that line, and that stuck with me so much and explained in deeper what it meant. So, and quite frankly, Cody, first of all, thank you so much for being willing to come on and share this with everybody, because it's not an easy part of our lives sometimes to be open and share with other people. So appreciate you having the courage to do that. Even more so, the courage to have that conversation with me back in September at dinner, because you're one of those people that I like to thank. You talk about the roller coaster of a relationship with God, and mine's definitely been a roller coaster, and appreciate the relationship with you and helping me to really understand what it looks like, right?
yeah,
What does it look like to live a life? It's easy to say you're a Christian. It's a whole different animal to live that life. So appreciate you. Thanks so much
absolutely.
for sharing your story with how faith fuels your business.
Thanks for having me, man. I always enjoy it.
Appreciate you, brother. Talk soon.